All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Haikyuu, Season 4, Episode 10. We're here. Nationals.
Here it is.
Battle on the Orange Court.
That's right.
Let's fly. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yep.
Let's
paint
be
the world
giants.
orange. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And black.
Okay. That's true. That's
Back
true.
in black! Oh my god.
So how this is exactly going to go down, who knows? We're probably going to start with the game, but we'll be able to potentially figure out this episode what the brackets are and all that stuff, what Karasuno's path will be and everything, and potentially how far they'll actually be able to go.
Yeah, if anything, because there's only going to be one cour worth before they go on a break into the second cour of the fourth season, I think that we'll get at the very least kind of either the observing of an important match or the playing of a part of an important match.
Yeah.
But we could actually see a match begin and end in the first tier of the bracket. Yeah. We've got ourselves a lot of representative schools and teams here. This is
an awful lot.
A huge deal. So
the big kahuna.
In some ways, I really think they could spend a lot of time not even focused on
Karasuno?
The games that Karasuno. Gotcha. Well, yes, specifically Karasuno, but having our boys playing games specifically, having them watching games, observing players watch games. I loved the dynamic back when with Oikawa or Boikawa being his trashy boy in his Clark Kent disguise on the sidelines giving commentary with
definitely. And there are a lot of teams that we care about other than Karasuno here, so that they have options, many options.
Also, because probably the second half of this season is going to be where the majority, the meat of all this is, we could end up seeing a lot of teams built up in the end of this cour to showcase why that one player that we saw when Kageyama was playing with them is such a big deal with how they're
with respect to their team as well.
Exactly. But this is a big deal for Hinata. His hero is here, and now we are his hero was here, and now we are as well. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone. Now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. All right, Nationals has begun.
Here we are.
Drawn our battle line.
That's right. Yes.
Thank you.
I love that name, by the way, for the episode.
Yes. Thank you for the shout out. I think Jacob is very happy. Very happy about
definitely.
This one.
Yes. But this episode was okay. So one of the things that I was kind of wondering about how they were going to do the whole national experience is that previously the first match in each set of matches, unless it's something where it's like Karasuno's going to be losing every match and it's about them getting better in the training camps and things like that. Usually the first match is pretty easy, right? Because it's the first match, it's just sort of the warm-up, right? But in Nationals, how do you do that? Because on the one hand, yes, they beat Shiratorizawa, right? So they are a force to be reckoned with. But so is everyone else, right? So I was really curious how they were going to do it, but by throwing in this little spin and complication of multiple, the whole thing of the place being different, so they have to adjust to that and everything. But then also, Hinata didn't have his shoes, so he wasn't able to adjust to it. There was the whole panic and everything, and the fact that Yamaguchi was able to go back to being calm, I think is fantastic, because that as a particular conflict for his character was his biggest weakness. So the fact that wasn't it, that it didn't get the best of him, I love that. But then also with Kageyama, because he's in a new place, but then he didn't also get to sync up with Hinata. So there you go.
One of the things that's really exciting about this is when you have a character like Hinata going into this situation and having him be the one that is usually the most nervous. It is a bit easy, I would say, to just write in probably in the story here that the teams in Nationals are really intimidating, or they're all really tall, or you just have something out there that he can't basically it's just a repetition of past things regarding why his stress comes about. Something we'd seen before. And in this, having the shoes be something that's gone, they ended up pulling the twist on that not actually being something that would cause his nervousness. If anything, it made him more confident once he got his shoes, something to where even the coach, specifically Ukai, was basically saying, well, we should actually be grateful that the shoes were gone now, because now Hinata seems really excited, confident, and ready to go.
Yep.
The fact that all the other characters had their little moments of, yes, we're ready. This is nationals, but I'm like steeling myself. I'm good. But the one person was like, I'm actually really calm right now, was actually the person that was the most nervous because of the fact that they weren't spatially aware of all the things going on here. The environmental stimulus was so much that they couldn't get a read. And they went all like superpower vision in this by showing the cubed, three-dimensional graph.
Battleship, whatever you want to call it. Like,
and that's perfect for Kageyama, because if anyone in this show has a superpower with regards to their volleyball skills, it's Kageyama. He's the prodigy.
Right.
But having him lie about his calmness to Suga, I thought was rather fun, because it's a recessive form of his old cockiness. It's not
interesting.
It's not him being actually cocky, like consciously. He's not saying that because I think he's he's like, I won't show weakness. It's that he thought he was actually calm. He actually had a belief that he was. But there was something nagging him about this environment or what have you, so that when he goes to prepare in the practice bit, it seemed fine. Like he was setting to Asahi and it was great. But then when it actually came down to the match,
and specifically with Hinata, because that requires all the fine-tuned, my body is a microchip kind of a thing, then it doesn't quite work. And even if he is calm at that point, well, he's not used to this. Right.
Right.
And
And I would say that it's not that when I say he was lying, I wasn't meaning that he was lying and that he was intentionally deceiving them, but that he wasn't looking really deep internally, I would say. And that when it came down to him setting for Hinata, it was his calmness actually that allowed him to get and recover back so quickly.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of off with regards to my analysis on this, but I think that Kageyama being the one that actually had the problem is the best way to also literally hamper Karasuno from playing optimally, because he's the control tower that sets up their offense.
Like, he's the hand of Midas that basically makes them all amazing. Like they're all amazing in their own right, but the idea that he just makes it that much better.
Right, and his mistakes is basically the entire point gap between Karasuno and Tsubakihara.
Right. Yes.
So once that's accounted for, it should equalize. But by it equalizing, rather than having it be a thing where they're still just barely behind, we get the impression that Tsubakihara, while they are one of the lower seeded teams, apparently, because this is their second time ever going to nationals. Sorry. Because they're 3 years, that's a good point. They could be a powerhouse of a team.
But the previous time it apparently didn't go well.
It did not go well.
And they probably got to nationals and then very quickly were defeated.
Lost.
Yeah. Because they weren't expecting it. It's like, oh, okay, we're here. All right.
And I think what ended up happening was that one of them had a Hinata moment with throwing up on Tanaka's pants, but instead it was in the bus, and he probably got so nervous that he puked or something like that. But having these characters be just earnest good boys who are kind of nervous about the idea that they're going up against a team that beat Shiratorizawa, and while they saw the match against Shiratorizawa, which kind of shows you a bit of perspective on how much respect Shiratorizawa has as a team, that so many other teams expect to potentially face them in nationals. They're like, well, we should check to see how they do. And it's like, holy crap, they got beat by some team with a short little orange-haired kid and a freak setter and just an overall really decent team.
And I love that they
get lucky. What happened?
And I love that they bring up the notion of okay, they beat Shiratorizawa, so that's pretty impressive. But hey, think about this. Would you rather face them or Shiratorizawa? Definitely them.
Definitely not
Shiratorizawa, right?
Right. Because Shiratorizawa's stats just look really good.
Just no one wants to mess with that.
Ushijima is basically that one character where if you have like I'm thinking of like Backyard Baseball, where like 4 is the max on all the stats. He's the character well, no, he's the character that's allowed to have a 5 in a stat, but it's okay. He has a 3 in one stat.
Right. Yeah.
But no one else has a 5 in stats or what have you.
Like,
So,
well, it's the whole thing of that image of Ushijima pushing down the entire Karasuno team by himself. It's like other teams don't want to have you doing that to them. like
that's disheartening.
Yeah, that's disheartening.
That kills passions and dreams right there. But you're a mass murderer, Ushijima.
So
Jesus.
So I'm really excited to see how this match goes, both because it was a fun spin to make this complicated, even though I'm confident that Karasuno is going to win here.
Same.
But it's a way to, get them used to nationals. I love the detail that they went into with how all the little things that you wouldn't necessarily think would throw people off do, like the lights or the fact that the roof is way farther away, so you can't tell how high it is.
Right. That's the one I actually kind of expected. The floor thing, that one, I was like, shoot, that makes a lot of sense.
Because it's
grip being
so
different.
So clean and so perfect. The floor isn't broken in.
It like really loud squeaks.
Yeah.
When you do the gym shoes walk on it. But the ceiling one makes a lot of sense. I'll just tell you, in closed door sports versus outdoor sports, regardless of the wind situation, there is this psychological aspect. I once played Ultimate Frisbee indoors. It was the worst experience of my life. I had never done it before. And just the feeling of all these borders that had nothing to do with affecting how my throws would go. It wouldn't do anything.
But psychologically,
it ruined my throws.
Gotcha.
Anytime I threw more than like 20 yards, it was awful. And I'll just tell you, on average, you're probably going to throw between 10 to 30 yards. So most of the time. So it's
about
like
half of them.
Half of my throws were awful, though.
That's rough.
That's
rough.
like, you assume kind of like an 80 to 90% completion ratio on like a average day. When you're practicing, you're on the top of your game, you go up to like 95%,
Okay.
Really high. I was at like 65 for that because I had the responsibility to make those longer throws. So that ceiling one, ouch.
It's
I
gotta say though, they are so lucky that Hinata's phone was in there.
Yes.
Because if it wasn't, Hinata just would have been like out of this game potentially.
Yep.
Like, it's like, okay, we'll try and get you new shoes, break them in as soon as possible. Like,
what would have happened is they would have had Kyoko, probably Takeda Tetsu, and Hinata run to a shopping mall nearby, find a sports shoe store. I kid you not, this probably wouldn't have even worked. Just looked around for a gym shoe, like a gym shoe specifically. That, and in his size or what have you, probably actually pretty easy. His feet are probably pretty small.
Yeah.
But
in our family, that was a nightmare trying to find shoes that fit.
I have a problem of where my feet are wider than what cleats are usually given out. So I can't ever really buy cleats.
They just don't exist.
They just don't exist.
Yeah. But even then, even if he did manage to find it, a brand new shoe, that is not good for like maneuverability and all that stuff because it isn't broken in. Like, even if they took like a hammer and started like hitting the inside of it to try and get it to loosen up a little bit.
There's
like,
things they could do, but it would still leave him out of probably the first two sets.
And even if he did get back in, he would be absolutely gimped in the kinds of, like, he would not be able to play on the same level.
Of course, but I'm saying like it would be a thing of where if they did that, I would want him to still come in, but have it be only for like the last set.
And it'd be kind of like an Oikawa moment from their first game with Seijo.
They're like, wait, wasn't there like a number 10 we were supposed to watch out for? Where is he?
Yeah.
He shows up and Kageyama's like, yes.
Yeah.
And then while they're all tired and Hinata's all like bouncing and ready to go.
Let's go. Yeah.
And even when he's awkward with his shoes or what have you, it would be more of a thing of going back to the old school days when Kageyama would do most of the job for him, setting the ball perfectly, and having Hinata just run and jump.
That would be great.
I would be awesome to see like the set be so ridiculously one-sided, where it's like 25-11 or something, you know, like some stupid high number.
Right.
I actually really like that we're not getting the seedings, the brackets.
Oh yeah.
Because usually I'll just say brackets for tournament arcs in anime
tend to tell you
pretty
almost
predictable.
exactly. Like, yeah.
Pretty predictable. One, I would say they're not doing it for us here because they said the games are going really quickly, which I like that. That's awesome. But two, we only know personally like 5 other teams that are here.
Right.
So what's the point of showing us,
exactly.
And maybe even 24 other teams in the boys section.
Like we might know a bunch of the people from Kageyama's training camp, but that doesn't mean we know the team. That means we know one person that's really scary that's on that team.
Right. And they would probably do that to be like, oh, that team, that's where, so-and-so is on the team.
Exactly. Yeah. But,
But yeah, that's a big deal. We are in nationals. The game has started.
Yep.
Karasuno's coming back, and there have been like some really goofy little moments here, like freaking Hinata like jet propulsioning his head into the spike.
Because what I can only imagine how that happened is that he missed the spike, he fell down, and then he managed to like scoot over and sort of jump up just a little bit, just in time to sort of bop the ball with his head, and it went over, I guess.
I think what ended up happening was the set was too high, right? And the reason why being too high was the problem was because it was going to drop rather quickly right there. So because it's dropping, he's more actually like leaning his head to like the left.
And he just sort of...
And he just kind of bops it in. And there's nothing illegal about that.
Yeah.
But it's the funniest thing to see from Hinata because... Because this is the guy that's like, I want to battle in the air and I want to compete with the best of them. And his first mid-air battle in nationals...
Oh, that's right. That was his first actual point, wasn't it?
He's actually with the head. No, I don't know if it's his first point necessarily. It might have been. Actually, let's double check because I think what ended up happening is Hinata doesn't really get any specific stuff.
Wait. So.
Oh, right. So that's it right there. Yeah. So he ends up juking him to go to the left, then he gets the Asahi and he goes to the left anyway. So the ball was a bit too short, and then he ends up passing it to him right here. It's dropping. Yeah, see, it dropped really fast. It was his toss that stops kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, maybe he actually did.
Yeah, I can't
maybe
tell
he
whether
did
that's
jump.
Camera work or whether it was him actually jumping. I would think it was him jumping.
It might be camera work.
Because otherwise it probably wouldn't have gone to the very end of the court.
Yeah.
But, man, that
is just beautiful.
That's great. Yeah.
So silly. Like, he's already going to have a reputation in nationals for having the dumbest point in the first game, first round of games.
Yep.
Kageyama going full like anime god powers here.
I mean, what can we say? Perfect. It's really satisfying.
It's really perfect.
Although it really does raise the question again of what is it with anime characters, specifically in sports, with the sort of that black hairstyle, that are hyper competent in what they're doing.
I think it's it's kind of, he's got the everyman kind of look,
Sure.
Yeah, he doesn't stand out as much. He's got the I've got the intense eyes.
Right.
I've got the black hair.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't have any crazy hair. Like when thinking about a lot of the other characters, doesn't have like the Asahi bun in Jesus face or the Hinata. Yeah,
he doesn't have silver hair. He's not like buzz cut or anything like that. If anything, the only person with probably more normal hair than him is Daichi.
Yeah.
But
man,
it's just perfect.
Yep. And I gotta say, I really appreciate that they gave something into the story that one added a bunch of conflict, but it was
Kyoko.
also a way for Kyoko to participate and basically show that because she's a third year too, right? And this is her last time, being able to play with them and all that stuff, even though she's not on the court.
And while Daichi was the one, Dadchi, was the one that when he was Sunchi, back in the day, brought her in, to this whole setup here. I'm guessing what was probably a big deal for Kyoko was that she practiced so that she would be a starter or like a big deal in high school. So that transition period from junior high, like middle school to high school, she's like, I am going to be a first year starter. She was essentially a Hinata, if you think about it.
Oh, for track?
For track.
Yeah.
For her doing the hurdles and stuff. She gets injured or something goes wrong, and she like completely like misses her shot.
Yeah.
So it might not have even been that she got injured. It's just that she didn't succeed in the tryouts or what have you.
Potentially. Yeah.
Then, they're like, do you have a club? No, I don't. Okay, well, why did you do this? And she said that she didn't really know them, in the beginning. They were just random people to her. But over the years, they stopped being random people.
Yeah, exactly.
They ended up having connections with her.
And the determined looks on her face when she was doing everything,
Yeah. It just feels good to see the passion of Haikyuu's characters displayed out in all the characters of Haikyuu, not just our squawking boy and our sorry, I'm back,
Yeah. Oh man, next episode is gonna feel so good.
We've only got a few more episodes left in this course, so thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction discussion right now, you can't because we're watching these week to week with all y'all. But you can check out full-length timer reactions, link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level of support gets you access to our Discord where you can chat with us and the community there about Haikyuu. The anime onlys, the manga people are in there as well. Anime in general, stories, what have you, like Jacob's sci-fi novel that is actually named in the same way as this episode is.
Yeah, I guess someone, maybe one of the people that works on the show, Haikyuu, really likes my book. I guess that's what it has to mean, right?
That's probably it.
Definitely, because my sci-fi novel Battle Lines is really awesome, and it's on Amazon for purchase. Link in the description down below. Hardback and ebook within the US, ebook outside the US. Go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time on the Battle Lines.